Good morning to you all. A few days ago, Owen Benjamin, a famous comedian, gave a shout for Muslims on Twitter, praising the rulings of Islam on several topics. So Robert Spencer, the famous Islamophobe, tried to prey on him and called him to debate. So I interfered and I said, why are you challenging an artist? If you want to debate, then let's do that. And he wanted me to email him to set up a debate, but I refused to set up anything privately and publicly on Twitter. I was clear that since the topic is about Islam, not comparing between religions, then the attacker who will throw the allegations should not take the same time of the defender who will present his arguments. And this is what I see fair. Then 2 days ago, he appeared on Patrick Bet-David podcast and debated two Muslims, brother Daniel Hakikatu and brother Jake Brancatella. And he had with him another Islamophobe called Rashid, who does nothing since converting to Christianity but attacking Islam. The moderator was unbiased. He gave them equal time. And that's what I see as unfair. And it's an unfair setup. Both Islamophobes, through every single lie and every single distorted truth about Islam, while the two Muslim brothers tried as much as they can, but to refute all these misconceptions properly and scholarly, they need 20 hours at least. Professional Islamophobes are trained on using the cut and paste game to deceive their listeners. Listen to this clip. It's a 20 seconds clip in which Robert Spencer threw two very damaging lies. Listen to him.
Christian world is thinking this is marching orders for today, whereas people read the Quran, unfortunately, they do think that when it says kill them wherever you find them, when you meet the unbelievers, strike the necks, and so on, they do believe that these things are marching orders for today because the Quran does not have these different stages of development.
Okay. Robert mentioned two damaging lies. Robert mentioned, for example, 6 words from the Quran. He said, kill them wherever you find them, suggesting that the Quran incites violence and killing right and left. So when a non-Muslim hears that, what will he think about his Muslim neighbor? That his Muslim neighbor is a danger. So this means that if this is really in the Quran, kill them wherever you find them, then in order to be devout Muslims, we should be walking around with a machine gun in each hand in order to kill every non-Muslim that we come across. Those people have magic scissors that they use to cut out some words from the Quran and quote them out of context. They just decontextualized everything in the Quran. Look at the context of kill them wherever you find them. Look at this. Here. See, I shaded it. Of course, I'm using my translation, the Bridges translation of the Quran, and kill them wherever you encounter them. He used a very small part of a much longer sign of the Quran, more than 54 words in this sign, in this verse. So before showing you what came after these words, kill them wherever you find them, let me show you what came before them. This is the sign before them. It says, and combat in the way of Allah those who combat you, but do not start hostilities. Indeed, Allah does not love the hostile ones. But of course, he will never read this for you. He will just read, kill them wherever you find them. If we just read a few words further along, you will find this. Okay? And kill them wherever you encounter them, and evict them from where they have evicted you, which means get them out from where they got you out. So this command was sent to people who had been driven out of their homes, people whom their homeland is occupied by aggressors. Their homes were occupied by tyrants. I'm not saying that these words are no longer valid, that they were only for the people who were the companions of Prophet Muhammad, whom their homes were occupied in Mecca. No, it is still valid until today. Until this day, anybody, even according to the international law, who is turned out of his home, who is evicted from his home, and whose land is occupied, has the right to fight the occupiers. Let's continue reading. Let's continue reading. It says, and kill them wherever you encounter them, and evict them from where they have evicted you, for religious persecution is more severe than killing. That's the justification of the command, kill them wherever you find them. It means liberate your country and fight the occupiers. But he will never read this for his audience. He will just throw on them, kill them wherever you find them, to turn people against each other. Imagine that your neighbor's worship is to read a book that tells him, kill your neighbors wherever you find them, kill others wherever you find them. Turning neighbors against each other and students against their colleagues is damaging. Those are the real enemy. Hate mongers are the real enemy. Why didn't he continue? I want to ask him now, Robert, why didn't you continue reading the next few words? Why did you use the dirty cut and paste game? Why didn't you continue reading the next few words and by saying, and kill them wherever you encounter them, and evict them from where they have evicted you? Why did you just stop after kill them wherever you find them? You either did this on purpose or you did it unintentionally. You either did it on purpose in order to mislead the audience, or you did it unintentionally because you are ignorant. There isn't a third option. Either you did this intentionally to mislead the audience, to mislead the listeners who are listening to the podcast of Patrick David, or you did so unintentionally because you're ignorant and you should have educated yourself better before throwing on people things like that. And the second example he gave, let me remind you of the second example he gave.
Nobody in the Christian world is thinking this is marching orders for today, whereas people read the Quran. Unfortunately, they do think that when it says kill them wherever you find them, when you meet the unbelievers, strike the necks, and so on and so on.
When you meet the unbelievers, strike their necks. Strike their necks. Okay. Let me show you what he did. So actually, when you meet the disbelievers, strike their necks, where is this? This is a command for Muslims to cut the necks of unbelievers in supermarkets and train stations, or is it a code of war? Read with me the context to see that these are etiquettes of war, and it's about how to take POWs and treat them humanely. But he cut 5 words and took them out of context. Here, this is the ayah in Surah Muhammad. Here, thus, when you encounter those who have denied, strike at their necks. Then when you have subjugated them, bind them firmly, which means take them as prisoners of war. Then either release them by grace or by ransom until war lays down its burdens. So this is in war. These are the etiquettes of taking prisoners of war. Don't kill prisoners of war. Either release them by grace, like what Prophet Muhammad did in the conquest of Mecca, when he told everyone of the enemy, go, you are all free, or you ransom them. But it doesn't say kill them. So this is a code of war. When you encounter those who have denied, the disbelievers, the enemy in the battlefield, strike at their necks, because there was no shooting at that time. It was actually striking the necks with the swords. Then when you have subjugated them, which means when you overcome them, take them prisoners of war, bind them firmly, and then either release them by grace. But no, he just cut. When you meet the disbelievers, strike at their necks. Can you imagine if my neighbor now hears this, what will she think about me? She'll be scared. So hate mongers like them are the reason why Muslim women wearing hijab get pushed in front of trains by people who are brainwashed. And this is disgusting. And everything they said in this podcast about Islam was either a lie or a distortion. My message for my non-Muslim friends and neighbors, for my non-Muslim listeners, is don't listen to those people. If you want to learn how a certain dish tastes like, ask someone who tried it. Go to the nearest mosque when they have an open day and spend time with your Muslim neighbors, break bread with them, and trust your Muslim neighbors. Believe me, Muslims are the best neighbors. The real enemy are those who are disuniting us at a time when we need to cooperate against the devilish ideologies that are damaging our future generations and our children. Take care and salam.